Hello and welcome to the TV and movie reviews podcast. I'm Hank
And I'm Mel.
and we are your hosts. This time we're going to be reviewing Black Widow. Ooh, sounds deadly. More ways than one.
Deadly to I'm not even gonna start.
Yeah, we'll be like deadly to the wallet, deadly to lawsuits, deadly to a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, yes.
Well, as we often do, let's start out with the setting as far as all the various settings that took place throughout the movie. Personally, I got the Born Identity kind of vibe when they were going around to some of these areas that looked European or what have you, and I was like, okay, I kind of get that spy type feel from that. But some of the like indoor stuff kind of fell flat for me. And it just seemed like, okay, instead of being on this gigantic floating ship or whatever it is, floating red room, we're in this room, we're in this office on the back lot of a Disney property.
You mean the floating Russian helicarrier? but
Nice, nice.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay. The prison, the exterior, okay, gotcha. Interior, didn't feel as hopeless as I would have tried to make it, in my opinion.
So there's this TV show called Arrow, and honest,
That I
and
don't watch anymore.
yeah, of course, because also it's over, but yeah, one of the seasons, the character he was in jail for maybe 5 seasons, 5 episodes, sorry,
Okay.
because vigilanteism is illegal, and he was in jail, and they did a big prison breakout episode, and all the prisoners were let out, and they were all fighting each other, and they were trying to kill him, and one of the people who trained them back betrayed him. And I just have flashbacks of that show the whole time because there's only so many ways to do prison episodes. It's a prison break, and that reminds you of something else, or it's somebody being wrongfully accused of something. But there's only so many ways to do prison settings, and
Yes.
so at this point, it's kind of a dead horse.
Yeah.
Like you break them out, people die while they're being broken out. Yeah, yeah. I wasn't
Cliche,
impressed.
you know?
Exactly,
And then
exactly.
you're allowed to just sit there and open a package, you know, right out in the open and be like, "Oh, look."
The premise is supposed to be that the guards are corrupt, so they're stupid, but you could be corrupt and competent. So I don't get how all of a sudden they're yeah, uh,
It should let people know where we're headed here in this direction.
yes.
You wanna switch over to some characters? We won't hit them all, but we'll hit the high notes.
Yeah, of course.
Natasha Romanoff. Would you like me to go first, or do you wanna go first?
You could go first.
Okay, here's where I get frustrated. So before somebody tries to say, "Oh, you're sexist," or anything like this, some of my favorite Marvel characters are like Ming-Na Wen's Melinda May, and the characters from that show, I loved how they wrote specifically the women. What I loved about Black Widow prior to this movie was how they wrote her. Yes, she's had some bad circumstances, but she was never a victim. She was never like engulfed in victimhood. She was always like deadly and attractive and awesome and just you're like when the Hulk was chasing her, I was like, you better hope she don't stop. That attitude. And then in this movie, it's all about this red room, which is a terrible situation and stuff, but you kind of turned her a little bit to this from the world beating woman to this, I don't know, this victim and uh the whole, oh my gosh, when we get into problems, the the mechanism to why she can't hurt him, the guy in the head of the Now, you wanna talk about misogyny, that to me was, like, the stupidest misogynistic thing I've ever seen. But I did not like how they did the character in this particular one. She was still they still kept her pretty brilliant, but there was, several spots in this where I'm like, "That doesn't add up, that doesn't add up." You can show her development from a ruthless killer to somebody that has a conscience in a different way than turning them into a victim or something like that. Just my opinion. What do you think, Mel?
So here's the thing: when you usually have one of the problems that they did with Marvel, and obviously, we watch Marvel stuff. One of the things they did is they made the guy the life of the party kind of situation. So you always have this situation where the guy, the male, and in all of these movies or TV shows, the guy is saying the quips, he's doing the jokes, and the female rolls her eyes, kind of situation. So in Guardians of the Galaxy, it'll be Star Lord and Drax. Meanwhile, Gamora would roll her eyes. Or in Age of Ultron, you got the guys trying to pick up the hammer, and the girls are rolling her eyes. So what that does is say, okay, they're above this all, or they don't have any fun. They don't realize that's kind of what they're saying in the background. So when you have a movie, in my opinion, when you have a movie about a character who's already died, you got to say, okay, this person was this. This is what you missed out on. This was that. So when you victimize them, and or you say, hey, by the way, their sister has way more personality. So, by the way, this girl has way more personality, but don't worry, she's going to replace her soon anyway because she's already dead. And you run into those kind of problems. So what they should have done is give Natasha less victimization and more of a personality. I mean, I'm not saying she's Captain Marvel. That's that's a different set of problems, but just show what we're missing. Make us say we want her back. Um,
Yep.
so I mean, of course, when she was with her sister, that brought out a little bit more personality, and it ended with her getting a vest. But we needed something else. We needed some oomph. We needed to show that, like, number one, hey, you guys wanted a female driven movie with the original Avenger. This is what you missed out on. Like, we needed to get some kick, some oomph. And she did her usual thing, but yeah, there was victimization. There was everybody else had a better personality, and it just they could have done better with her, I
Yeah.
guess.
Let's move on to Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh's character that will pick up the mantle of Black Widow. She was really well done, in my opinion. They did a good job of not only getting you to invest in her storyline, but the way she breaks free and stuff all stacked up and made more sense and had more direction to me, more intentionality than what they were doing with the lead character of the movie.
There's uh there's this thing, I don't know if you watched that Midsummer with her, but there's this thing she can do where no matter what she's in, she engulfs herself. You believe it. And she does these microaggressions with her face, and you just believe the character. Like going back to the scene where they're in a car and they're just talking about the vest, and you believe it. And she's looking at Natasha and she's kind of trying to talk up the vest, and she feels like a sister. She's trying to show that she did something well, and just there's all these things that she's portraying without saying anything, just like in her face, and you can feel it, and it's just a good character. It's like
Yep.
she's acting how the first female Avenger should have acted.
Right.
Personality. I'm with a bunch of guys. I have a personality. So that's kind of what I wish I would have seen all these other movies. But it looks like we're going in the right direction with her. I agree.
Yeah. Next up, we had Melina, Rachel Weisz's character Melina. Um, it was a mixed bag for me. I didn't know what to think of that portrayal of this character. I didn't know it was the character supposed to be so callous and, like, stiff?
Apparently, it runs in the family with one of them. But yeah, she got away with everything. She showed no remorse.
No.
And I don't know about you, but I didn't even recognize her at first because the last time I saw her was the Mummy, and so and so at first I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh!
So there was that, but yeah, she was still competent. She had no remorse, and at the end, she just got away and was just like, "All right, see you later."
Yeah.
So it was just,
Like, I was like, okay. Nobody's gonna put the screws to this person? Okay, fair.
yeah. I mean,
That's not fair, but okay."
yeah. I mean, usually a bad guy, we make sure to kill them off. And that's why there's no crossbones. So, so
Oh, may he rest in pieces. Alexei, David Arbor's character, um, I thought he was so goofy, like, like a real big goofball. It was fun, but it's not a character I was really taking that seriously. Had he
and
died, I wouldn't have cared, to
And
be
there's
honest.
the thing again, the Marvel male has to be the goofball situation. So it's a female-led movie, and you have the males in it either have to be the bad guy or it has to be just a goofball with. So when Captain Marvel, it was Sam Jackson. And then I forgot the Kree guy who was working with her. So you have those two males as the bad guy. In this one, the Russian Red Room guy, uh, Dreykov, and then you have you have Red Guardian, and Red Guardian is just overdoing it. Like I get everybody else is supposed to be serious, but he's like just taken to the extreme. He's Drax. He's Drax on crack pretty much, and it's just like okay. And then there's theories online that the super soldier serum kind of made him crazy. I don't know if
Okay,
that's what it is, but because it's a Russian version, it's not the version Isaiah Bradley had.
okay.
So
To me, you gotta flesh that out ahead of like, tell us, cue us in on that because I was sitting there going, "Okay, he's just a goofball weirdo,"
yeah,
you know?
their theory is that he is insane
Okay,
because already he thinks he fought Captain America,
and that would
and
make sense to me then. That
but
would've
they
made more
didn't.
sense had they just portrayed and then I'd have been like, "Oh, he nailed it."
You mean you don't like to do homework after you watch a movie to figure out what you just watched?
No,
you you
I
just want
don't.
to watch a movie and just enjoy it and have no clues? Come on.
I don't wanna have to stop frame by frame and go, "Oh my gosh, do you see that jar? Oh, it said something on it," you know?
No, that's for Loki episode 5, but that's neither here nor there. there's a there's
Yeah,
a there's a frog in a jar and there's a hammer next to it. I don't
yeah.
get what's going on.
It was too much, though. Dracoff, let's go to him. I just thought he was a weirdo. Like, he portrayed a character that is a weirdo. I didn't get any sense of, like, sometimes Marvel has done a good job with bad guys helping you see their side of it. This was just like a total just a landslide idiot, and I'm like, I don't see he had no kind of charisma or anything that would make you go, "Well, oh, that's why he did what he did," or anything. He had no redeeming value whatsoever. He was just uh, a mechanism that I wanted to see the main character go through all these steps to kill that person.
I agree. I was There's another thing about it is you need to have menace. Menace makes a bad guy good. So, for example, the first Captain America, I was afraid of when Red Skull would show up. I was just like, oh, he's going to kill somebody. Like, what's he going to do? Like, I was worried for characters. Same with Killmonger, I just knew there were people he was going to kill because you just didn't know what Killmonger was going to do next. Same with Loki and Avengers. I was worried for Hawkeye. That first scene when he showed up and he went against Maria Hill, Hawkeye, and Nick Fury, I was like, who's getting away? Like he's gonna kill somebody. So there's also got to be some menace, and with him, I wasn't worried about anything.
No.
So there was that. Also, yeah, he seemed comical. Like what he was just, and then we're gonna get into the problems with why he couldn't be fought later.
No.
But yeah, it's just could have been better.
Mason, we'll talk about him for a minute. See, I went into this, I have acquaintances that watched test footage, or way a long time ago. And they had well, allegedly clued me in on stuff, but it turned out to be all incorrect. Like they didn't go in that direction. But in the footage they watched, they said he was actually going to have a romantic uh, kind of relationship with her, and then he was going to be revealed to be the Taskmaster. And I was like, Okay, that's too cliche, you know." So I was glad that they kind of switched that a little bit. But it left me kind of wondering, since since it kind of looks like they cut stuff, it also kind of made their connection a little ambiguous, and I wasn't sure like what should I think of this character as far as what is their connection. They didn't really show a lot of that to me. So I really don't care, that character could have been in the movie, not been in the movie at this point, because it really wasn't a pivotal thing for me.
It was I was trying to figure out if we've seen him before. Like so when I first saw him, I said, wait, what?" So yeah, so it's there was no backstory. They just throw a character here, and then you're supposed to kind of guess and jump through hoops. And you don't want to do homework when you watch a movie.
No, no. Lastly, let's get to Antonia, aka Taskmaster. I thought the I thought the premise was like, kudos for trying something like this, or whatever, in this kind of a movie, but it was just a weird story. Like, I don't believe this little bitty kid survived this explosion. I You've already got me there. I just don't believe it. And then they did, and they're like this. Uh, it was almost reminded me of like Dr. Frankenstein. I've got this almost pseudo monster I control, and such, and you're just like, no, no, no. I just don't buy it. I'm
I-
sorry. That's
I'll
just
do
me.
I'll do you one better. So it's a character with swords who's not talking, and and it's a mercenary that you're supposed to be afraid of. It's Wolverine Origins Deadpool. They didn't learn their lesson at all, and because there's ways to do this character better. Like making so people tone deaf people think, oh, it's because the character's female. No, because Ghost was female,
Right,
and
and
Ghost
was
was a guy. Yeah, I,
brilliant.
yeah, Ghost was great.
Yes,
So it's not making a character female that's the problem. It's the problem is that you didn't learn from what you did with Deadpool the
right.
first time around. So also show how the character survived the explosion.
Yes,
So all he had to do was just if he could go on in 5 minutes about his scent, he could go on for 1 minute about a
that.
secret. Yeah, how did he survive? And
We
he
had a
brought his
safe
daughter
room.
along. Yeah,
We
piece of cake.
discovered the bomb. We had a safe room where we ducked in. She got hit with some shrapnel as going in or something, but
I knew that you were going to defect to the shield, so I was listening in until you and that Hawkeye's conversation. So I was 5 minutes ahead of you,
nope.
done in
Anything.
30 seconds. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Nothing. We got nothing. Well, shall we shall we get into the problems?
Yes, please.
Okay. The whole scent thing, the pheromones. I thought that was just for a company that is, that claims they're woke or whatever you want to say. I just thought that was the worst decision you probably could have made.
So there's a lot of ways they could have done it, but I mean, you could say we genetically programmed you, and then, but how?
You know what I
so
would have taken over top of that is the Suicide Squad mechanism.
yeah,
We've
or
implanted when we had you under, we put a little bomb in there. You mess with me, you're blow your head off.
yeah,
I would have
yeah.
taken that over this. That was
Dead
the
man,
pheromones.
dead man switch. My heart
Yes.
stops beating. My heart
You,
stops beating. You die
yep.
easily.
Not this. Not
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, because you say scent and oh, I got it. I got the flu. Like I can kill you when I got the flu. So
I can't smell you. Oh my gosh, that's great.
yeah, it's
No,
like,
that's
and then so
awesome.
they said the nerve had to be damaged, but
No.
you could put so a coroner, a coroner could just show up and kill him. Like, just come on. Yeah, they didn't
I
think
d-
that part through.
Dumb,
Yeah.
dumb, dumb, very dumb. The the gas mechanism for waking people up. Did you? I thought it was kind of hokey. That's just me, man. I know you got to do something, but I just was like,
It
oh,
was a lot less
what am I
clunky
doing?
than if it was a syringe, I guess, because, you saw Tomorrow War, like,
Yes, right.
having it show all the way up and, like, because,
Yeah.
so, could be worse. Could be
Okay.
worse.
Okay. Okay. Another problem I had was this you got this gigantic flying facility that nobody knows exists. Shield never knew it existed. Tony Stark can lick time travel, but he can't find it. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Also, airspace being completely mapped so we could find out when aliens arrive, but we don't have this artificial construct that isn't a helicarrier being being tracked. But yeah,
Ridiculous.
but
The size of it too.
yeah,
And you're just
but
it just evades radar and everything. I was like,
well, the reason is because back when Hydra and Shield were the same thing, one of the Hydra people helped him out with it, and that's when Alex, I'm just joking. 30 seconds to explain it though, right? Like I
right.
just did.
Yep.
But what can you do?
And
Like,
and then the ring.
oh,
Just mechanisms like that, like little things that you need to accomplish this and that stuff is so to me, just my opinion, is so beneath like Marvel, what they have presented us so far, like I just looked at that and was like, I would expect to see that in some other types of movies and such, but Marvel's usually craftier and has more better ideas.
well, that's why at the beginning they gave you that they showed her watching that James Bond movie because they wanted to show you, oh, yeah, we're gonna copy James Bond for a little while.
Right.
So
Right. Any other problems that you had? I think I have more, but we'll
so it was pointed out that at the end of the post credit scene that maybe she doesn't Valentina doesn't really want Hawkeye dead. It's just a test.
Really? Okay.
So that's been an option online that I've seen. I think she wants him dead
Right. But
because
for what how would in their time together, how would Black Widow, Natalie not have told her about, that they were good friends at least prior to the events of Infinity War and all that stuff.
well
You know what I
she
mean?
she already did just based on
That room where
the room and
these are arrows.
Yeah, the tic tac toes, and and you're like, what kind of adult lost tic tac toe? But it's got to be a test
Oh,
because, or then again, no spoilers, but they are bringing in. He is training a new Hawkeye, so in the TV show. So it's
right,
Kate Bishop is showing up,
right.
and so maybe she takes over. So you never know. I mean, they feel like they're flushing out all the old school Avengers and bringing in new ones.
Yes.
So, and he is getting old,
Yeah, he is.
so you never know. Maybe, but it would be hard to accept her as a new Black Widow if she killed off a character in Avenger.
Most
Like I don't,
certainly.
yeah. So I don't see how that would work. But another thing, here's the thing I have a problem with is going back to Taskmaster. So your daughter, your daughter that you love, survived an explosion, and your first thing is to brainwash her and make her a cyborg
Right,
and never have her talk again.
right.
Like,
Or she could kill you, something. You know what I mean? Like if
and
things go sideways, she could kill me. But
if you're
okay,
gonna do that to your own daughter, why would you do that to some random girls you don't care about in the red room? Why
right.
aren't there like 12 taskmasters? Like, no, we're just gonna stop at one.
Yeah, we can float this entire uh, virtual little city up here, but we can't have more than one of those uh,
Yeah,
outfits. I was like,
yeah,
gee.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I could nitpick all day, but we're gonna run out of time. You want to talk about some wins?
Yes, yes, please. Uh,
I obviously, like we've said, I think the Yelena Belova character is a slam dunk. I think
she's
that's a
definitely a
character
win.
I want to
Yes,
find in future movies. Better make that happen. I think that was an excellent win. Um, what are some other wins on your scorecard? Anything?
well, when I was watching Endgame, I was like, "Where did she get that vest from?" That's all I could think of, and so now that no, racking my brain.
You're like,
uh,
maybe.
I like as cheesy as it was, the family dinner scene
Yep.
was it was what it meant to do. It did humanize her, and the rest of them. So that was nice to see that.
Yeah.
Um, so that was a nice win.
I did like some of the callbacks too from their little stint, like you're upside down and all that, there's just that little stuff like that. It was probably the best parts of the movies were those little callbacks to that stuff. Um, outside of that, like the whole storyline is kind of creepy when you think about it. You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird storyline.
I like the beginning. I like the whole, because I like the Americans. First few seasons of the Americans TV show, and that's what this reminded me of. The first 30 minutes, I guess. But yeah, I like the whole, you know, their their family in Ohio or what have you, and then all of a sudden they got to mobilize, and this is not a drill, and they get to it, and like it's just a really good action piece to show you what could have happened to the Americans the first season if things
And,
had hit the fan, and it was just good to see. I just didn't like the end part of when they get caught. I mean, I knew the programming was supposed to happen. I thought it already happened, believe it or not. Like I just had my timeline in my head a little wrong, and so I said, "Wait, oh, she's already programmed. That's why she's living with this Russian family now." And then when they flew the plane and got to their destination, then they get taken,
yep.
and it was just a hard scene to watch. But everything before that, I liked.
Yep. I agree with that. I like how silly she made General Ross, look as always. He always ends up with the short end of the stick. He's like just a caricature at this point, just like this larger than life bozo that can't catch anybody unless they surrender. But there were some good things, and the action set pieces were pretty amazing. Some of the cool little gadgets and stuff were amazing, stuff like that. I like that.
Yeah, I like the when she went we could call it Mega Man or Metroid. But when she just started taking out the other widows with the thing, I was like, use that again.
Yes.
That's the best weapon you have.
The Mandalorian, whistling birds almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
That's
It's
outstanding.
such a great weapon. Better not use this again.
Right. Can't use it in this situation, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Do you wanna rate this episode? Or this movie? Sorry. I'm too ingrained. I've done 2 back to back. I did the, Bad Batch and then something else. So, I'm in
Yeah,
episode mode.
no, no, I get it. I gotta catch up on Bad Batch, but after Clone Wars.
Yep.
So it's better than it's not Godzilla versus King Kong, but it's also not worth $30 right now. So
No.
that would already have the membership, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
Um, Shoot. Yeah, I would say, what did you wouldn't have to remember what we did for Godzilla King Kong, would you?
I
Because it
can
should be
find out.
it should be higher.
I can find out real quick too, if you give me a second.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go back and say, well, he gave this a 6 and he gave that a 5.
I
That doesn't
I
make
don't
sense.
I don't think all, I don't think all movies are analogous though. You know what I
You're
mean?
right.
Like,
You're right.
um, if I can find it. Godzilla. What did we give this dang tootin' movie?
Yeah, I mean,
You
because
gave it a 7.
oh shoot, then yeah, I guess I got to give this an 8.
See, I'm not gonna go in that direction because I'm not pitting them apples to apples.
Correct. It's just
For
I don't want to.
Yeah, I understand you don't want the backlash. I get it. But for me, I can't give this more than 7 because just for me and my expectations of Marvel and what I've waited years to see this character get her own movie. And this is what I got. And I was like, I mean, I could go watch it at any time. I paid for the all access. I haven't watched it since and I don't want to. I just don't want to. I saw everything I needed to see. I might crack it open, in the future, but
If I'm allowed to go back, then I
yeah,
would like to give it a 6 because as far as a Marvel movie, which
it's
we hold
low.
to a higher standard, yeah, it's
Yes.
definitely low. So yeah, good point. Yeah, definitely for me a 6 then
Okay.
because I got Captain Marvel at a
'Cause
5.
yeah, when I first watched it, I was like, "This movie's a 5," and then I've calmed down since then. There was a lot to like about the movie. They just made some weird choices in few certain areas, and had they changed some of those, man, this movie would have been right up there, you know?
It
Yeah.
it had potential, and definitely if you know have Melina in jail at the end for starters. That's because I. But yeah, there was potential.
Yep, do something different than The Scent, and then my score goes up. "He's wearing Old Spice, you can't kill him." You're like, "What? He can't be killed because of Old Spice?
I'm
He can't
wondering
be
if
killed."
I'm wondering if there's a bar where I can wear a certain scent, and the bartender's like, "You smell like my husband. Here's free drinks."
Here's free drinks,
Does
all
that work
mine.
anywhere?
No, that does not work anywhere ever.
It's the
But,
exact same Old Spice that my husband wears. Here you go.
right. You're immune because you're wearing Brute. Let's quickly I wanna get your because John and I have already discussed this, and, XD and I have already discussed this, but I quickly wanna get your thoughts on Scarlett Johansson suing Disney because they released this on Disney Plus as well as in theaters. What would you say briefly?
I mean, was it a breach of contract? I mean, the movies have a release situation. I don't get why that's a suing thing.
She had a clause where the money she should have got was been tied to, um would have been tied to box office sales. Those weren't
Okay.
gonna be good anyway. I hate to break it to people, but they're like me, I'm not going to a theater. I'm not scared to go to one. I just don't wanna go to one. If I can't watch it out in the living room right now, I just don't wanna go. It's just, I don't know if it's, laziness or what. I just don't wanna go to a theater right now.
And in their defense, they didn't want to do a Fast and Furious 9 where it's only in theaters, so you lose out on the box office.
But guess
Y-
what? Fast and Furious 9 is right out there. I can go watch it right now. 20
Yeah.
bucks. And then after they said that, and they're like, only in theaters. We
Yeah.
didn't say how long.
Yeah.
I'm like, you
Exactly.
guys are liars, man.
Yeah, so
But
it's at the end of the day, a business needs to make money. So I don't know.
it's
It's
always
I
about these.
Yeah, I mean, because from we, we look at things from a business standpoint, you and me, and so I think have to think like uh, it's not a breach of contract, and they need to make money, and if we weren't able to watch it, we weren't able to watch it. It was only in theaters. We would have skipped it. We would have
Yes.
waited till October.
Yes.
We wouldn't be doing this podcast till
Nope.
November. So the business was right here. Usually it's the spot the little guy, but I side with the business on this one.
I do too. Um, but I will say this, just take care of her. Like, it's not worth the bad press at this point. Just
So
kick her the whatever money she's asking for. I would just settle and just kick it out there, even though I think they didn't do anything wrong.
so here's the other side of that. You remember the Dave Chappelle Netflix thing, right?
Yeah.
Where so Comedy Central made a contract with him to put it on Netflix, and he said that was bad. Blah 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 blah. Netflix and Comedy Central worked together and said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
They didn't have to do anything. So, and of course, they're smaller than Disney, but and so we were talking about it. We were like, would Disney do something like that? Because they're all encompassing. They never admit fault.
No.
So yeah, so it's a different situation. I don't think they're going to admit fault, and they're going to call it a day. They're
Okay.
just going to ignore this.
Yep. Probably.
Remember, they fire people based on their Twitter. Like I don't see how.
How dare you tweet?
Yeah, how dare you treat your personal thoughts?
Don't think what you think.
Yeah. So
Sit down.
I think I don't think she's gonna get what she wants out of this.
Now, what? Who are we? So, we'll just, I guess we'll leave it there if that's cool with you.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you so much, Mel. This has been a great episode.
no problem.
What,
Thanks for having me.
what do you think at home? Do you think we got it wrong? Let us know. tpenetwork.com/feedback. We would love to hear your thoughts. If you think we're just smoking something, I'm getting that contact from my neighbors. But other than that, check us out at tpnetwork.com for all the fun podcasts we do. For Mel, I'm Hank. Until the next time, we're signing
See you
off.
later.
TPE Network. There ain't nothing else like it.